On April 20th, rapper POOH SHIESTY has been officially sentenced to prison. As reported by DJ Academics, he stated, "Breaking, POOH SHIESTY sentenced to 63 months in prison. He was facing 8 years. Academics then added that he should be free sometime in 2026. Now, since the moment that POOH SHIESTY was arrested, reports came out that he was having a very hard time within jail. Now, this no longer was a theory anymore, as we watched with our own eyes POOH SHIESTY enter the courtroom wearing a turtle suit. So typically while in jail, if you're having a very hard time, saying things about your own life, even caught crying, then law enforcement will take your clothing and all of your belongings and only leave you with this suit. Now, you can't do any harm with this suit on as you could with regular clothing. It's a very sensitive subject. So when POOH SHIESTY's trial began, he then moved cell blocks within jail. So this cell block, he had a lot more familiar faces inside, and even had some people that he knew throughout living the street life. When looking at this photo, POOH SHIESTY is seen standing in the middle. SHIESTY looking very different within jail. This was due to stress that he had from his trial. This stress may have been from POOH SHIESTY working with the judge in the case. As mentioned by Wack100 in DJ Academics, SHIESTY used what's called a proffer. So a proffer deal is when the criminal proves additional detailed information to the feds relating to the offense for which immunity, or in this case a lesser sentence, is then granted. Now, SHIESTY used this proffer to have his charges of life in prison dropped in exchange for what was supposed to be an 8-year sentence. But then SHIESTY even gave more additional information and had it dropped down to 63 months in prison. Now let's get into the information that POOH SHIESTY gave to law enforcement. Now, POOH SHIESTY in the proffer deal laid out the truth of his armed robbery. Here's what he said. SHIESTY set up an armed robbery via Instagram DMs. SHIESTY knew it was his last day in Miami, Florida. SHIESTY set up a meeting with a reseller on Instagram for a pair of high-end sneakers as well as narcotics. SHIESTY revealed all of this in the proffer agreement that he created with the judge in his case. Now, to start the day, he rented a green McLaren. As you can see, the rapper POOH SHIESTY arrives to the parking lot on the surveillance footage. Now, awaiting the two men's arrival, SHIESTY and his boy create a plan for the armed robbery against the two men that were coming by. Now, once they arrive to the parking lot, they place the goods on the trunk of the vehicle. This leaves SHIESTY doing a legit check on the pair of sneakers, making sure they aren't a pair of fakes. Now, while negotiating on the price for the goods, a small argument then started. Now, this began getting heated until SHIESTY was seen grabbing a firearm out of his waistband. You then see the two men start sprinting away, trying to duck behind their own vehicle for cover, but they weren't quick enough, as SHIESTY was seen sprinting towards them, holding a firearm and using it. Now, SHIESTY ended up hitting both of them, hitting one in the backside and the other one in the hip. So while POOH SHIESTY was handling the two men, SHIESTY's boy was in charge of grabbing the sneakers and narcotics off of the trunk of the vehicle. He grabs the goods. He then starts sprinting to his side of the McLaren. Meanwhile, SHIESTY is making sure that his job is done before sprinting to the driver's side of the car. Now, with POOH SHIESTY opening up his McLaren door, this vehicle had butterfly doors, meaning that the car doors go upwards. So with the car door going up, there was a Louis Vuitton bag that fell out of the side door pocket. Now, this bag then fell onto the ground inside of the parking lot, and SHIESTY didn't even realize. SHIESTY was then seen slamming his door shut before driving away out of the parking lot. So this Louis Vuitton bag that they left behind at the scene had $40,912 in cash. It also played a huge role in the evidence against SHIESTY, but more on that later. So POOH SHIESTY went straight to the closest Miami airport, rented a private jet, and flew right out of Miami, Florida. Now, the moment that SHIESTY did this armed robbery, he did several mistakes. The first mistake, he just committed an armed robbery right beside a police station. Now, the video footage that you see here is recorded from police station cameras. So once the sound of firearms in the area were heard, several police cars then sprinted over to the parking lot. With law enforcement knowing exactly the location of the armed robbery, it didn't take long for them to just look through the recording tapes from the video camera located across the street. Also, with the police arriving to the scene as fast as they did, they were able to retrieve the Louis Vuitton bag. Now this Louis Vuitton bag, holding $40,000 in cash, was a massive piece of evidence. Now the feds already had an idea on who committed this robbery, so they went to Shiesty's Instagram, downloaded a few pictures. Now these photos of Shiesty stretching many $100 bills across his body were used against him. So the feds zoomed in on these photos where they could see the serial numbers on the bills. And with creative police work, they noticed that one of the photos had a serial number on the bill that matched one of the bills found inside of the Louis Vuitton bag, which was very creative police work. But this leads us into the biggest mistake I have ever seen a criminal do. So POOH Shiesty just committed an armed robbery, and he posted a selfie with the all-green McLaren that he just did it in on Instagram. Yes, you heard me right. POOH Shiesty took a selfie with an all-green sports car that he just committed an armed robbery in and posted it to his Instagram with millions of followers on the same day. Now fast forward to the current day, Shiesty, he will be sitting in prison for a few years. This leaves Gucci Mane controlling his music. Gucci had just released the new POOH Shiesty album titled Shiesty Season Certified. With his songs SUV, It's Up, and Certified featuring Gunna, we even had a video clip of Shiesty inside a prison, sending us a message to his fans, which was nice to hear. Now if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. It's been District Trending and I'm out. Peace.